The first time Tarek brought Dr. Mara his broken blade, she thought it was a test. The young Kravathi stood in her medical bay doorway, all scales and sharp angles, holding the ceremonial weapon like it was made of glass instead of reinforced titanium alloy. His amber eyes, the kind that could track prey across 3 kilometers, were fixed on the floor. "Can you fix?" he asked, his translator struggling with the concept. Dr. Mara looked up from her datapad, confused. She was the fleet's xenobiologist and trauma surgeon, not an engineer. The Kravathi were apex predators from a death world where the gravity could crush human bones, and the wildlife made Earth's dinosaurs look like house pets. They didn't ask for help. They certainly didn't show vulnerability. "What happened to it?" she asked gently. "Training accident. Broke during combat drill." His claws flexed nervously. "Is dishonor. But cubs say humans mend broken things. Make whole again." Something in Mara's chest tightened. She'd spent 6 months with the Joint Fleet, patching up injuries from a dozen species after skirmishes with the Void Collective. The Kravathi were her most difficult patients, not because they were aggressive, but because they refused to admit pain. Their culture worshipped strength above all else. "Let me see it," she said. The blade had snapped clean through the hilt. It was irreparable by any conventional standard. But Mara had grown up on a farm in Manitoba, where her grandfather taught her that nothing was truly broken if you cared enough to fix it. She spent 3 hours in the machine shop, welding, reinforcing, etching new patterns into the metal to hide the break. When she returned it to Tarek, his eyes went wide. "You made it stronger." "I mended it," Mara corrected. "It's not the same as it was, but it'll hold. Maybe better than before." Tarek's throat rumbled. A sound she'd learned meant deep emotion. He pressed his clawed fist to his chest in salute and left without another word. She thought that would be the end of it. 3 days later, Commander Vorath himself appeared at her door. The Kravathi fleet commander was a scarred veteran who'd fought in 40 campaigns, a predator so respected that even the other species gave him wide berth. He carried something wrapped in cloth. "Dr. Mara," he growled, his voice like grinding stones. "The cub Tarek has spoken. You mend broken things." He unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a small holographic projector, cracked and dark. "My mate's last message. Before the collective took our colony world. Projector damaged in battle. Engineers say irreparable. Data lost." His massive hand trembled slightly. "Can you commend?" Mara's breath caught. This wasn't about technology. This was about a heart broken by loss, by war, by the crushing weight of command while mourning. "I'll try," she promised. It took 2 weeks. She recruited the fleet's Zenith tech specialist, bartered favors with the Harathi data recovery team, and spent sleepless nights with a microscope and tools meant for neural surgery. When she finally powered it on, the image flickered, a female Kravathi with kind eyes, speaking words Mara couldn't understand but recognized as love. When she returned it to Vorath, the commander's iron composure cracked. He watched the message 3 times in silence, then looked at Mara with something that transcended species. Pure gratitude. "You have given me back her voice," he said quietly. "How do I repay such a debt?" "No debt," Mara said. "Just tell me about her." And the fleet commander did for hours, sharing memories of a mate lost to war while a human doctor listened. Word spread through the fleet like wildfire. Humans mend broken things. They came in a trickle at first, then a flood. A Harathi pilot brought the remnants of his wingmate's flight recorder. A Zenith engineer carried pieces of her childhood theorem solver, smashed during her planet's occupation. A Vesk soldier presented charred body armor worn by a fallen brother. Not all were objects. Some came with injuries they'd hidden, old wounds, improperly healed, carried out of pride or shame. Others brought psychological scars, trauma from battles lost, comrades killed, homes destroyed. Mara's medical bay became something else entirely. Part repair shop, part confessional, part sanctuary. She learned that mending meant different things. Sometimes it meant surgery or engineering. Sometimes it meant listening. Always it meant caring. The other human crew members joined her. Technician Park became known for restoring family heirlooms. Counselor Williams helped veterans process their trauma. Chef Rodriguez discovered that preparing traditional foods from lost homeworlds was its own kind of healing. The Kravathi cubs started a tradition. They'd leave small broken things outside the human quarters. Toys, training equipment, anything damaged. Not because they needed them fixed, but because watching humans mend things gave them hope that maybe their broken worlds, their fractured families, their damaged spirits could also be made whole. 6 months after Tarek's first visit, the fleet engaged the Void Collective in the Sector War's decisive battle. The collective fought with cold efficiency, their cyborg warriors feeling no pain, no fear, no mercy. The Cravathi fought with rage. The Zenith fought with logic. The Harathi fought with precision. But the humans fought like they were mending something broken. They pushed through impossible odds to retrieve fallen allies. They jury-rigged destroyed ships back into fighting condition mid-battle. They refused to abandon anyone, even when tactically sound. Dr. Mara's medical bay became a battlefield of its own. She worked for 36 hours straight, mending bodies faster than the collective could break them. When Tarek was carried in, half his torso seared by plasma fire, she didn't hesitate. "Stay with me," she commanded. "You're not broken beyond repair. None of you are." The young Cravathi's eyes found hers through the pain. "Humans, mend all things." "We try," Mara said, her hands steady even as exhaustion threatened to overwhelm her. "We always try." They won the sector war. The Void Collective retreated, their cold efficiency no match for a fleet that refused to let broken things stay broken. At the victory ceremony, Commander Vorath spoke before the assembled forces. "The Cubs taught us a truth we'd forgotten," he rumbled. "That strength isn't just about fighting. It's about healing. Humans reminded us. Some things are worth mending." Later, Tarek found Mara in the observation deck staring at the stars. His blade hung at his side, the welded line visible like a scar. "You mended my blade," he said. "Commander's memories. Fleet's hope." He paused. "You mended us," Mara smiled tiredly. "You were never really broken, just needed someone to care enough to help put the pieces back together." The young predator was quiet for a long moment. Then, "When war ends, I wish to learn human ways. Learn to mend broken things." "I'd like that," Mara said, "because that's what humans did. They saw broken things, objects, people, hearts, worlds. And their first instinct wasn't to discard or destroy. It was to heal, to mend, to make whole again. And sometimes, that was the greatest strength of all."